The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Bob Stewart, Chad Himes, and Megan Brenn-White dive into the world of Instagram-driven real estate success. Based in New York's Hudson Valley, Megan reveals how her team achieved over 1 million GCI in December, attributing much of their 100 million annual volume to Instagram. She shares insights on crafting an authentic, visually driven Instagram strategy. The discussion explores integrating Instagram with newsletters and tools like Brivity to cultivate compelling connections and foster substantial client growth through authenticity. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast presented by Brivity.
Welcome, everybody, to Let's Do This, Just Do This. I don't know what we call this thing. I'm a little bit flustered because I just learned that the two people that I get to be on the call with, you guys both had Ataris as kids.
Yes.
And you guys both got them, Chad on the first day of Hanukkah and Megan on the last day of Hanukkah. I'm converting to Judaism.
Bob,
if
wait.
Giving out Ataris?
Once I got the Atari, I converted the other way. So there was nothing left for me after that. So it might be a little late.
No, and my birthday is December 17th, and my dad was lapsed Catholic. So I got all the holidays in December.
Okay. This is amazing. I'm so jealous. My 8-year-old me is so jealous right now, or 6-year-old me, or however old I would have been when the Atari came out. That's not why we're here. Megan,
we could do a whole episode on the Atari 2600.
If we did, I would bring up the Intellivision, which was the much smarter version of that first console.
Yeah, except I hated that controller. Sorry.
It was weird. Megan, do me a favor. Introduce yourself to our audience. Let them know a little bit about your team. Maybe sneak in there that you guys had one of the most amazing Decembers I've ever heard of. But tell us where you're from, a little bit about your team, and then we'll get into kind of what you guys are doing that's killing it.
Okay, awesome. So I am Megan Brenn-White, and I live in the Hudson Valley Catskills region of New York, a very second homey market, very beautiful, farmy, mountainy. I lived in Brooklyn for 17 years before moving out here, like a ton of people. Grew up in Chicago, lived in Colorado, lived abroad. I had a marketing business for 20 years. So I spent a lot of time living abroad. We had 20 countries we worked with, the universities, almost entirely. And that is where I learned how to speak to people using digital media, basically. So that, follows directly into starting my team. When I moved up here, I got my license in 2016, started doing Instagram pretty much right away because I needed to learn it for my marketing clients, hilariously. Started my team in 2019, and as Bob was saying, we just got over $1 million of GCI in December, which was wild.
Wait, because I don't know your price point. Was that like just one awesome transaction because you sold like some? Because that's where Dirty Dancing was supposed to take place, right? So did you just sell the Kellerman?
That's a $300 million. That's a big old deal.
Right.
or whatever it is.
How did it break down?
30 million.
Yeah. So we did around 275 transactions last year, and it was $5 million in total GCI. So I was saying to Bob, our December is huge usually because we have a huge October with the foliage season. That's when we're putting all the offers. They're all closing in December. So
people are coming up from Manhattan and going, "Oh my God, it's beautiful out here. We want to live here." They end up, starting to write offers on houses in October, early November. They close in December. Okay.
But I'll also say that I became a place partner. We officially launched in March, and our business was up almost 40% year on year. So I'm not directly attributing it to Place and Brivity, but I'm not. No.
Well, look, there's a lot of systems to plug into, but you guys plugged into them, right? Like you're doing the work. That stuff doesn't just happen because you signed a contract with Ben.
Yeah, you don't just open Brivity and it does it. We used to teach certain things. And social media is one of those things that Brivity does really well, can really help with. Take it to a basics class first. Let's start with a basics, and then we'll go intermediate and advanced before we're done here. Give me a basics class, social media success.
Okay, so I think that one of the things that helps is to understand how much we've relied on social media. So my team did $100 million a year of business before we had a website. $100 million of volume a year before we literally could send anyone to a website. It was entirely driven by Instagram and then sphere of influence. We also had almost no CRM. We were not like calling people. So I think we still do. I would say 80% of the business comes just from Instagram. That's the only thing we do, actually. So about 80%.
So no Facebook, no TikTok, no YouTube. It's just Instagram.
It's Instagram. And, one thing I want to talk about is that it's Instagram driving people to a newsletter. So what we want to do is get them off of social media so we own the addresses in case there's some wacky thing happens with Instagram. So we have a newsletter list. We put out a weekly newsletter of around 20,000 subscribers. What's more impressive for people in marketing is that we have an over 50% open rate and generally a 7% click rate. So,
wow. Okay, so stop. I'm listening to this webinar right now. I want your newsletter. I want to be on it. One, because I'll remember you as my referral into the area. Two, I want to see what the heck you're doing. That's so good. How do I, right now, listening, sign up for the newsletter?
Yeah, so basically, if you go to upstatecurious.com, you're going to land on our website. Or if you go to @upstatecurious, which is the Instagram, and then you're basically going to be asked to sign up relatively quickly. I mean, there is a subscription thing at the bottom, but the great thing about Brivity is now pretty soon you're asked for a newsletter, or you're asked, for an email address and a name. And then we have everybody who signs up for that automatically go to the newsletter.
All right, folks. So if you want it, get on it. So can I ask, Bob and I have done social media for so many years, teaching people and all this stuff. I mean, Ben and I have a letter of cease and desist somewhere in file still from Craigslist because we broke how it worked originally. Why just Instagram? I mean, obviously where you are is majestic and beautiful. So photos, but photos work on Facebook. Photos work on YouTube, a video tour, seeing the leaves fall, the deer running around. So many people attempt to be everything to everybody on every platform. Talk about that. No, narrow focus, make the most of the one you're on and maybe why it's Instagram.
Yeah, I think that so when I've thought about our success, a big part of it is actually about branding and differentiation versus whatever the medium is, so it or whatever the channel is. I think that the main thing, and this is very simple, is that you just do something that you like. You know what I mean? Like, I liked Instagram. I like taking photos. I like writing. I like the format. I felt like people were kind of moving away from Facebook a little bit. And actually, Chad, to your point, like, this is a beautiful, majestic area and there are beautiful homes here. And Instagram is such a visual medium, even more so than I feel like any of the other ones. We could do YouTube, but it's harder. I mean, just like, literally, that's the only reason. So as long as we have success with it, as long as we have success with Instagram, we're good. I'm not doing anything else.
Okay. So like anybody can, and I'm on it right now. Anybody can come and look at your Instagram, Upstate Curious, @Upstate Curious on Instagram. And it's, this is not meant to be like a shot.
It just looks like a normal Instagram.
Yeah, it's not groundbreaking, right? Like, you guys aren't doing anything I don't think anybody else out here is capable of doing. I don't know. I don't see a bunch of crazy drone photography, and maybe there's some in here or whatever, right? But it's just really cool pictures of a really cool place. So like, how do you get to 66,000 followers? Posting what anybody could be doing? Is it the consistency? Have you just been doing it long enough? Like, is there a secret recipe? Have you figured out the algorithm? Like, tell me, like, why do people follow you guys?
So I would say that this is one of those things where the devil's in the details. So first of all, consistency, 100%. Yes, since 2016, I've been posting. you know,
Wait. Then not just I've been posting. Come on, if you're being consistent, are you posting once a day? Are you posting once a week? Are you posting what's the consistent rate?
at least once a day.
Okay.
Because I like this area. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about the houses that we see. And so it's very easy for me. And initially I was talking about what I was talking about was moving up here as a city person. The other thing that happened here was that we got picked up by press. So New York Times did a profile, of myself and my husband relatively early on because of the Instagram. And that has happened, and that led to more followers. But what I would say is that this is a little bit of the devil's in the details thing. So if you actually open up those beautiful photos, what you'll see is very informal writing. That's like, I have to write a whole different description that I do for Instagram versus the fancy MLS stuff, or versus the more formal MLS stuff. And then one of the things I did want to say is that now in 2025, the feed is like your basic, it's almost like your website. It's not exciting. Oh, there's my dog Charlie running around. The stories is where the personality comes in. So that is like, so if you go up to the stories, like actually you'll see a felt, I got like a felt doll of Charlie made. That is where the personality comes in. It used to be though that the feed did have more personality, and it certainly was when when it was me. Now I have to put so many houses up, like I have to put our listings there, so it did get a little bit, I mean, honestly, it got a little bit more boring. But we still, we are absolutely looking at what performs and what doesn't perform. But
Bob's having a good time scrolling right
Yeah,
now.
I'm looking at Charlie dolls. I might be over on Etsy. Like,
well, you know what else, Bob? I would say that like, and I think that one of the things that you don't see, you don't see templates. And that's a very deliberate decision. So you don't see newly listed, just sold. You don't see those things that to my mind, just make your brain stop looking. So that is one of the ways that that I see that like for us, it's just better to have images versus all of those things. Because one of the things I did want to say is I believe that maybe this is controversial, but I believe that professionalism is on the opposite side of the spectrum from authenticity to some extent. So literally the more like professional and buttoned up you look, the less authentic you feel. And so we do things like
I don't disagree with that, but I think that your photos have a certain level of professionalism that like transcends, right? Like as I look at this, I'm like, this looks. I don't know if I'd say
not
professional,
salesy,
but
that's the difference.
Yeah, it's not salesy. It looks super clean.
There he is. There he is. I see him.
Who is? Oh, the dog. What are you pointing at? You can't see anything in my room. That house, by the way, like looks like your backdrop. It isn't your house.
Yeah.
It looks like your area. Like in my head, I'm like, that's the Catskills back there. It's like the A-frame and the
I would have said the Poconos. Yeah, I absolutely. If someone said to me, "Where is this?" I would have said she's either in Colorado or the Poconos. If I didn't know.
Vibe.
Yeah.
So if you look at the photos for us have to be magazine quality, and literally like our photos, we have a full-time photographer because Instagram is such a visual medium. So our photography has gone straight into like Architectural Digest. It's gone straight into the New York Times.
So you're not just snapping it on your iPhone.
That is the place though for the stories. We snap everything on our iPhone in the stories. And when we were starting, we did all house tours with iPhones. It was a first person tour. We wouldn't even use whatever the thing is that stabilizes it. Like I don't even
tripod thingy. Yeah, the gimbal.
So
the gimbal.
So we would just so we would just go through and we would be walking through the house just talking, and it would be completely unedited. And people loved that. Loved it. And then they got the sense of who the agents were. They got a sense of the personality. We don't have, I don't have space on the feed for that anymore. So we're kind of putting that up more in the stories. The other thing that I have to say that you can't see right now so much is that I've always tried to involve, as soon as I had a team, I've always tried to involve the agents, on like I've promoted them also and try try to teach them how to do this and help them find their own kind of voice, I would say.
Okay, let's talk.
Go ahead, Bob.
No, you go ahead, because I'm going to shift gears really quick.
Okay, I was just going to ask, do you have a strategy? Like, is there something that the audience can say, okay, I need to have one day a week where we have all these photos taken, and then through the week, every day I'm going to drop pictures. And then do you have anything in that area that the audience can take as a model from you and say, I want to be like Megan with my town?
I think the interesting thing, and this is for sure not what I would have said as a marketing consultant, we don't even have a content calendar. Literally, the only thing that we know that's going to happen is that our new listings get posted sometime Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our newsletter goes out Wednesday. That's it. Everything else is just like kind of randomly appears, unless we have some content like a town guide that goes with, a particular listing or an open house. And I think this just gets back to the fact, and this is, I wish I could say something different, but you have to be passionate about whatever you're talking about. I think you have to be kind of a good writer, honestly, and you have to have something to share that's interesting, and you just have to want to do it. Like this is not something that I could see how you would outsource, truthfully.
Do you use AI as an outsource? I mean, are you having ChatGPT help you with some of the writing on any of the posts?
No, because the thing is that it takes me almost no time. So like if I am writing that social media thing, now keep in mind, this is a big thing. I was in digital marketing for 20 years before this, and particularly we did a lot of like place marketing and location marketing. So that was when I was talking to like trying to get, I don't know, students from somewhere to go to students in another country, you had to talk about the area in certain ways. So you could use AI. I've thought about it, but not yet.
All right. Bob, you wanted to go a different direction?
Well, okay. So look, go follow Megan's Instagram, get a lot of ideas. You can kind of get a sense of what you need to be out there presenting to build a following. But how much of the so you're getting business because of this, like unquestionably. How much of it comes from people just straight raising their hand on Instagram, direct messaging you? I think the kids say sliding into your DMs. Like, how much comes from that? And how much comes from the news and like your ability to get them into that newsletter, get them over on that newsletter, and then get them raising their hand 6 months, 12 months, 18 months later?
Well, okay. So let me say another thing is that I post a lot because I want to post a lot. I tell my agents, like, as long as you have 16 good pictures for your feed and cute captions, you're good. As long as I can link back to you and you have something relatively normal that shows who you are and your brand. So I don't want to say that for years and years and years, you have to do this. And a lot of the following was also built with sharing local businesses who would then repost our stuff. So it did like it allowed me to help local businesses and then get in front of their audiences. So this is the question about where the business comes from. This is where Brivity really actually made an impact, a big impact for us, because we would wait for someone to raise their hand in Instagram or in the DMs or in the newsletter. That's it. But now, and literally we never called anybody. We never wrote anybody. We barely stayed in touch with our clients. I mean, past clients, literally. So now that we have the Brivity website, which was something to get used to for me, I was not used to it, but like now that we have people who are signing in there and a system for how to call them and reach out to them, that has been like a super game changer, because one of the things that we found is somebody who comes from social media or the newsletter, they're not exactly a warm lead, but they know who we are at least. So people aren't like mad at us. Our rates of like, our rates of like having a positive conversation is good. Maybe they don't pick up the phone, or maybe they're not ready to do real estate, but the conversations are really different, I think. So, and that is what the new has allowed me to hire new agents and get them to come to us and go through our, whatever. I think our opportunity pond, which is open to everybody, is like 16,000 people or something, have them going through that and actually reaching out. I was going to say, we just had an agent who just got her license like in December, who just got her first offer accepted, and it was $1.6 million. And our
What's your
price
average
point,
sales price? Is that impressive?
yeah, I was gonna say the average price point for homes in the area is around 400,000.
So that's impressive.
Price point is around 700,000.
Okay, so that's double the average price point in that area. So yes, and it's an issue I personally have. Agents run around and they'll tell me I got $1 million. I'm like, who cares? Right? Yeah. Go sell me two $500,000, because then you have two people that could refer you instead of one person at $1 million. But for some reason, people have this thing about that number. But when it's double the average sales price, that's impressive to me to say, okay, she's working high end, but that's because you're also bringing in the leads from the pictures that you have that are on the higher end. And they're not hesitant to say, well, look at a house like what I'm looking at her house right now. I'll pay 1 point whatever to have a place like that. They're coming from New York. That's cheap.
Well, so the interesting thing, and this I think is interesting, is that we do pretty much the same level of photography if something is like, we have a cute little farmhouse there that's $395. That's the first thing on our Instagram thing. We just want a good photo. So we have the same photographers pretty much go. I mean, we're having to differentiate because we have so many, but pretty much we have the same photographers for a $300,000 house and a $4 million house.
That's such a good picture of that $300,000 house, by the way. Like, when you really look close at it, you're like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd probably walk up to that house and think, man, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in it. But this picture is just amazing. Like, your photographer's really good.
Yeah.
Do I gotta find somebody this good? I almost feel like I do.
If you're going to focus your business on Instagram, yes, because it's an image-driven platform. If you're going to focus your business on one of the other social medias using the lessons Megan's talking about, maybe not as much, because the photos have to be good on Facebook. They don't have to be amazing. Instagram, if the photo sucks, nobody, they just keep scrolling, right? It's got to be that good. Agreed?
I do think that some people can take really great photos with their phone.
Sure.
So if you could take really amazing, like one really amazing photo, you could probably get around it. But yes, the photos have to be great. Like whether
you don't have to get so you don't have to get an amazing photographer, but somebody has to be capable of taking cool pictures, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say the other thing that I didn't realize that is super interesting is if you think about social media, you've one person here and one person here, another person at this company, another person in this area. They're all independently coming to you through social media. So each of those people have their friends and their family and their colleagues. So you're meeting all of their spheres of influence that are huge. So it's like, I have my friends and colleagues and whatever, but planting those seeds with people who do not know each other became huge.
It's the Vidal Sassoon commercial, if you're old enough to remember it, of he told two friends and they told two friends and so on and so on. And you see that person, and then all of a sudden the screen's filled with all these people, right? So you're getting into their world. So Bob, I know
you don't even have hair, and you remember the old
Vidal hair, and I watched a crap load of television when I wasn't playing on my Atari.
Forget about that. Megan, newsletter. What are you sending to people that they open it that much again and again and again? Because most newsletters, like, what are you sending?
This is what I'm saying is I am pretty lazy, honestly. Like, I want to do the least amount of work. Like, I work hard, but like, I won't do it if it seems complicated. So our newsletter, and this is where I do have a marketing person help me now. We have, it's the same pictures and the same text I use in Instagram. So it's a template, it's just a boop, boop, boop. But then what I do is I write like a little introduction at the top in my voice. And I swear to God, I think that makes the difference and this is where the professionalism, authenticity, this week was more, professional, but sometimes I'll just write some nonsense. And I met somebody the other day who said they've subscribed, a real estate agent in Southern New Jersey. And she's like, somehow, I've subscribed for 2 years and it's so funny. And I was like, what? I was like, how is that? I mean, sure, like the rest of it isn't, but yeah. So then all I have to do is write those three lines and it looks personal. And then, at the bottom now we've added like whatever, how many accepted offers we have, or, stuff like that. But it's barely more than that.
So you're just writing about the same things you're posting. I mean, you're essentially taking the things you're posting about that showcase your area, and your
No, so we use the descriptions like from the listings that we post, like those ones we move over. So we use not the MLS description, but the Instagram description. So that little top thing could be anything, like, I don't know, like it's really warm and makes me think about going to the city in summer, or like, you know what I mean? It could literally be anything.
And
that's
just-
you're just some opening lines of the newsletter are just authentic babble that mean nothing other than, here's the thoughts that I'm having right now. And it makes people see in the teaser of what they're going to get that it's authentic. So they're more likely to open and read through because it doesn't look like it's marketing spam.
Well, and I will say the other piece, which is the marketing piece, is that the subject usually says 3 listings or 2 listings plus whatever. So the subject, I mean, those are almost impossible to resist, right? Like any of those, like top 5 blah blah blah. So if you're like 3 new listings, somebody's opening it. And then you have the beautiful photography, and then you have the voice, which is really informal on Instagram and there. And one tip I did want to make is that the way that I'm able to, a lot of what have I been able to train people to write in a way that feels authentic or post or whatever, is to think about one person that you like that kind of fits the, or you could do, different avatars or whatever if you want, but like think of one person that you like and just write it to them, just post it to them. That is how you don't sound weird. As soon as you think of a whole big audience, you start to sound more formal. If I
I
can
think
think of
that's great advice.
That is,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, so I should write my next newsletter just like I'm just sending it just to Bob, because it'll sound authentic. It'll sound like I'm just being casual in conversation, and then others are going to just appreciate that and connect with that.
Yeah.
That's great. I know half the people watching this, whether it's live or recording, they're overthinking everything they send. And that is, forget everything else. That's the takeaway, right? To me, right there is that, folks, when you're sending out your newsletter, when you're sending out a mass email, whether it's through Brivity or you're sending it some other, when you're doing that stuff, don't think about it like I'm sending this to the whole crew. Think about, I'm sending this to whomever, right? And everyone else is just accidentally getting to read it, and they're going to be involved in the conversation I'm having with Bob.
And they're going to feel like you're writing to them. That is what happens.
So I shouldn't say Bob, right? But
yeah, you shouldn't say Bob. No, that would be bad.
Megan, what are you linking to? So you got this newsletter. Is it just back to those 3 listings that I highlighted? I'm driving them to those listings on my website. Do I have other, what else?
That was one of the things I wrote in my little notes here is we use link in bio, which you have to use through another program called Later.
Yeah.
If we would use Later, I don't think otherwise. But so that's when you click on link in bio at the profile, and you can click on any of the photos. So the great thing, again, about Brivity is now, let's say Katie is the listing agent for the blue house. Now we're linking it to katie.upstatecurious.com, whatever, the listing. So the agents are getting the leads directly, which they love, obviously.
Billy, by the way, the most recent listing on there is Billy's listing, because I just pulled it up in your link bio and clicked through on it, and I landed on billy.upstatecurious.com.
And that's huge, because we never used to be able to do that, really. I mean, you couldn't do that. So, and again, like we don't have to worry. We used to have something that was like subscribe to the newsletter, and now we just don't have that, because we get so many people coming and looking at the website who then will leave us their contact information. Because
by the way, the website looks really good in the Instagram browser frame, like, so every once in a while you'll pull a website up on Instagram or Facebook or something, and you're like, it doesn't really look right in that browser type, but the Brivity website looks really good in here. Like, it's super
so
clean.
you might not know this number, and I'm going to put you on the spot. You might, if they link in once they're on Brivity and they go in, like everybody that's in your database is on the newsletter. Do you get a lot of unsubscribes immediately? Like, what the hell's this that I got? I mean, is it 10% of the people you add each week unsubscribe? Is it 80% of the people? Or is it, do you know?
Yeah, I do. Because again, like before, when we said subscribe to the newsletter, it was like nothing. You know what I mean? We'd get like 3 people unsubscribing who just didn't want to hear about stuff. Now it's probably about 50%.
So you're just throwing them in and you don't care that 50% of them are out because that's 50% of them who are in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And what we've seen is that like now, I mean, 2 agents just went to California to kind of meet people in Southern California. We're with Compass, meet other Compass. Compass is a big referral network. Our brand is known out there. We have agents all over the place following us. So we get honestly, I want to say like 3 referrals a week from other agents. Like it is wild.
That's awesome.
So, and a lot. So, you know, it's not our only audience. Our only audience is definitely not just buyers. And the only reason, I mean, it sounds weird, but I always just think about how do you get listings? Because again, I think about one person writing. I think about only how do you get listings? You get listings because you can show that you have a lot of buyers, right? So when we go there and we say, we have 65,000 people who are showing interest in this, it's agents and it's buyers.
Yeah,
all right. So folks,
feeds on itself.
If you don't have all those listings, go find some small businesses, right? Go connect, take photos there, promote them, share them, because then maybe their followers are also start following you, and bring content about your area, which hopefully you're passionate about. Otherwise, move. And if you need a realtor, we can find you one.
Come to the Hudson Valley.
Hey, Megan, this was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. Here's what I would leave everybody with. It's an old tactic, Chad. We've been using it for years and years and years, and it's R&D. Like, just go follow Megan, go look and see what they're doing, and don't try to recreate the wheel. I think go just rip off and duplicate. Hey, Megan, this was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm blown away by your December. That is unbelievable. It makes me want to go into your Brivity and like see what you guys are up to in there. So, high five. Thanks for doing this with us. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
Bye, everybody. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week.